toilet movie by Michael Bay, and trust me, you can't even imagine what was in there. I'll start with the fact that I saw the film a couple of days before the first episode of Emergence came out. That's exactly when I was invited to the Invisible Narratives office. Back then, I still didn't understand what was really going on, so I reacted completely differently. Not the way I'd react now. I was excited and happy to be there. It was my first time touching what I then considered Hollywood, so at first it felt like everything was great. But the rose-tinted glasses started falling off the moment I saw that film. That became the first serious step toward destroying my view of Invis. I still hoped that later they'd listen to criticism, change something, and it would get better. Unfortunately, it only got worse. It became clear that nothing would change, because they not only don't listen to constructive criticism, they also ban you from the Discord server for that criticism, and they do a bunch of other bad things toward Skibidi Toilet's creator, YouTubers, and viewers. And then after leaked private messages, it turned out Invisible Narratives had been like this throughout the entire collaboration with Skibidi Toilet. That's exactly why I think it's important to tell you what they showed me back then. Hello everyone, Iron Cameraman here. So you can clearly understand what exactly I saw, I specifically recreated the scenes using AI. It took several hours and hundreds of prompts to get maximum accuracy. These images, which will appear as I retell it, convey the content of Michael Bay's film almost one-to-one. The plot was as simple as it gets. A big Skibidi toilet appears in an abandoned Chinese city. TV woman and small cameraman meet it and beat it pretty quickly. That's it. And yes, you heard that right. That is the entire plot. Everything Michael managed to come up with and realize over 2 years of work. But trust me, that's still nowhere near the worst thing you'll hear today. The antagonist was a gigantic Skibidi toilet. It didn't look like G-Toilet, and it didn't look like anything from the real lore. Visually, it reminded me more of Trevor from GTA 5. The design was honestly repulsive, and you won't believe it. But its attack looked like this, the way I'm about to describe. It tilted its head, scooped water out of its own toilet with its mouth, and spat it onto one of the floors of a skyscraper. It looked insanely weird for someone who's used to attacks where you actually feel impact. And here the villain is just spitting regular water. But then it only got worse. TV woman didn't look like Mr. Boom's character at all. No stylish coat, no signature vibe. Instead, they took the model of a regular woman from a sexualized NSFW content farm and slapped a TV on top of her. Yeah, we know Alexei also makes his characters attractive in a certain sense, but in a way that fits his universe. And here it's literally a fashion model, and it's so jarring that she basically should not have been allowed into animation at all. This isn't a question of taste or style, it's just the level. Something that should have been filtered out at the prototype stage. They turned her into a glossy doll with a rifle in her hands, even though in the original she never used traditional weapons and has completely different abilities. Screen glow, infection through the head, and so on. On top of that, she was accompanied by 2 to 3 mini cameramen. But nothing even remotely like that exists in the original lore. And even if they wanted to add something of their own, it should have at least matched the spirit of the universe. Like sure, in Transformers, the small characters at least didn't look cartoony, so they didn't break the overall picture. But here it looked more like Teletubbies than combat machines, which is what cameramen are basically supposed to be. There's another telling detail. They show humans running away in panic. Seems like the simplest moment where it's impossible to screw up. But even this moment is done with zero understanding of the canon and basic logic. In the original series, if a Skibidi toilet shows up nearby, people almost immediately go insane and either gradually or instantly turn into Skibidi. Here, they just run and scream. No headphones, no signs of Skibidi virus infection, like that mechanic just doesn't exist. And in that case, I have a simple question. What's even the point of Secret Agent and that whole army of cameramen, speakermen, and TV men that replaced most humans with combat units, if in this version of the universe, Skibidi toilets not only spit ordinary water, but also can't infect people and create more of themselves? How can an enemy like that capture anything or pose a planetary-level threat? And yeah, if I understood it correctly, because it was shown extremely vaguely, the toilet's additional attack was, you won't believe it, throwing its own huge teeth. No comment. Now try to guess how this battle ends. It ends like this, friends. TV woman just fires a couple shots from her sniper rifle into the lower part of the skibidi toilet. And apparently in this world it's literally made of porcelain, like a normal toilet in real life. So it cracks and falls apart like a plate. It looked so straightforward and ridiculous that I genuinely didn't understand what I was watching. Michael Bay's Skibidi Toilet movie, or an AI generation that just got the prompt "Make Skibidi Toilet Animation." Yeah, Michael Bay has always had that approach. Take a franchise and interpret it his own way. Even in Transformers, there were tons of canon violations. But Transformers at least looked cool and was genuinely entertaining. Bay ended up creating his own Bayverse, becoming a pioneer of that kind of blockbuster with signature explosions, pacing, and visual tricks. Here, though, he interpreted Skibidi on the level of a guy who saw a couple memes and concluded, haha, toilets fight robots. Let me write something in a day. For some reason, he went into realism. Even though in the original series, toilets don't shatter like ceramic from a couple sniper shots. I had the feeling I wasn't watching a movie clip, but pure Michael Bay horny posting. Dude clearly watched not original Skibidi Toilet, but NSFW content farms, and got inspired by that along the way. Otherwise, I can't explain this shame. Mr. Boom's world is surrealism, chaos, and symbolism. That's exactly why you believe in his universe. Having characters like that doesn't feel out of place. Plus, Mr. Boom always gradually improved his character designs through upgrades and redesigns, so someone unfamiliar with the series won't immediately even understand they're looking at a toilet character. The toilet part is basically reduced to a name and a few attributes. But here, literally every frame was screaming that Michael Bay not only didn't bother to properly understand what Mr. Boom was telling him, but he didn't understand what makes Skibidi Toilet at all. By the way, want another Genius Bay innovation? Everything is shot in third person, not in POV format like original Skibidi Toilet. Because of that, the entire key vibe of one continuous shot is gone, the sense of presence disappears, and the effect of the endless one take disappears. Let me remind you, Mr. Boom already made a post in June of this year saying he was completely isolated from the process. They didn't show him any concepts or updates, only vague descriptions over the phone and bits of script. He was basically just tossed aside and removed from the main role, while they took not only the YouTube channel, but also almost all his socials, including Instagram and Discord, where now they only post slop and toy ads. By the way, all the colors in that film were much paler and overall looked cheaper than even my AI pictures, so in the original it was even worse than what I showed you in these frames. It's just a crazy failure. Oh, and yeah, if someone's waiting for the continuation of this so-called film, I'll make you happy or upset. There is no continuation. That's everything they showed me. Seriously. I only saw this 2 to 3 minute scene from the film, but as I understood it, they just had nothing else to show me besides this. It became obvious that either this is the only thing they prepared over these 2 years of collaboration, or this is the only thing that's actually finished enough to show, which means this scene clearly illustrates what the whole film looks like. And then a reasonable question pops up. Out of 79 episodes of Skibidi Toilet, with Titans, and a space race, and the mystery of Secret Agent with his own universe, and the Abyss universe, and character interactions, and relationships with past reveals, and so much more. Out of all that, did they really decide to forget everything and instead add Trevor in a porcelain toilet vomiting water and TV woman with a sniper rifle in tight leather clothing? It didn't feel watchable at all. Action, fight choreography, animation, exposition, that's a whole separate story. No signature abilities, no technologies, no chemistry between characters. None of what made me love this series and break it down for over 2 years. When the news about the film first dropped, I, like the entire fandom, was really happy. A big screen adaptation of an indie project sounded as promising and inspiring as it gets for us. Almost every media outlet was shouting about it back then, but now it turned out this whole movie story was just another lever Adam Goodman used so Mr. Boom would agree to sign a contract in 2023. At a moment when he had serious problems with scammers' attacks and he needed a company that would handle protection and legal issues while he stayed fully focused on the series itself. And yeah, While I was writing this script, another piece of news surfaced. Turns out, even with the 2023 strikes, Mr. Boom was helped by YouTuber Penguins, not the company itself. After 2 years, Invisible Narratives not only completely ignores the creator and makes whatever it wants, but also lies, making false statements that Mr. Boom is very much involved, hiding behind contract clauses that don't allow him to publicly criticize the company, plus a harsh NDA. About the rest of the dirt and hypocrisy from Invisible Narratives, I don't even want to repeat myself again. If you're not aware, I recommend watching my previous videos or Zach Door's posts and plungers. By the way, while I was making this video, Elite Cameraman's video came out. I also really recommend it. The most surprising thing in this story for me personally is that on every call with YouTubers, which happened once every 2 weeks, whenever we asked if there was any news about the film, Invis employees always very confidently and even kind of proudly said we were in for something insanely cool. They constantly praised both the film and another project in development without naming anything specific. Now that this came out, I already understand that all this time they were most likely talking about Emergence. And overall, up until publication, there wasn't a single case where they honestly admitted, yeah, the result isn't great yet, let's fix it together before release. Or at least said something like, it's hard to replicate Mr. Boom's style right now, so we're talking to him to change the situation or rebuild the animation team. In other words, I never once saw real interest in preventing this kind of crap. If they themselves saw it was turning into obvious nonsense, why didn't they even try to change something? I don't know. You could have at least invited Skibidi fans or YouTubers for a test screening or a proper brainstorm. Same with the film. If I hadn't visited their office, I would never have seen this film in my life, and they would have kept it secret until publication. And that's not surprising, considering even Mr. Boom didn't fully know what exactly was being made until the end. That points to a basic unwillingness to genuinely try on the content. The only main priority is to scrape money together and squeeze the franchise. But even that they can't do because of absolute incompetence. To back up my words, here's an example of how employees talked about Emergence before the premiere. And here's how another employee after release, against the backdrop of massive fandom criticism and record low views, claimed that the animation of the first episode of Emergence is supposedly better than episode 78 of the original. Recently, he made another new statement where he tried to save his reputation, saying he meant episode 79. But he didn't account for the fact that episode 79 is still noticeably better than Emergence. So the excuse didn't just fail, it backfired. Once again, proving he isn't a real Skibidi fan, just a guy for whom the project isn't about taste and involvement, but just a way to earn money. So in a way, I'm even glad they released Emergence, because thanks to that, their real face started revealing itself to us in all its glory. And let me try to guess and answer why Invis employees respond to everything so corporately, so refined and exclusively positive, even in private messages. On the call on November 6th, Adam Goodman directly admitted they want to give viewers not what they want, but what Invis thinks they need. That approach can sound reasonable when there's a conditional Paramount Pictures behind your back with a huge team of professionals who can execute it well, like you had before. But the problem with that approach starts with a simple fact. Right now, you own a small company where absolutely everything is done through outsourcing. Bonkers Toys makes the toys Mr. Boom invented and made the series. Roblox games are made by third-party developers, and meanwhile, you take a monstrous 35%. Emergence and the film were also made by another studio you paid crazy money. And it's like that literally with everything. Basically, you're just middlemen, which means your key task isn't teaching everyone how it should be, but at least being able to manage the process and encourage normal collaboration. But as it turned out, you have big problems even with that. As a company, you don't understand basic things and act like you don't even realize what you're doing. The people who made the film simply don't understand what viewers need, because it's not their field. And because of this combination of total short-sightedness and absolutely narcissistic confidence in their own rightness, under strict confidentiality and actual ignoring of real feedback, a situation forms inside the company where employees are forced to praise even an openly bad product.
I just started the game. Boom!
Hey, 1 versus 1 me.
Wait, I just started.
Come on, don't be scared.
Product. Adam Goodman, now a question for you. A person who's genuinely unhappy that the fandom is so angry at invisible narratives. What did you expect if in your company nobody is allowed to criticize and only corporate language and performative positivity are encouraged? We're not Invis employees. We were completely for free, trying to explain what's wrong, constantly staying in touch and talking about the importance of bringing Alexei back and other ugly things you were doing. We warned that this would be the end if it kept going. But in the end, everyone who publicly spoke up in your own chat, where you invited us yourselves, just got kicked. So I'm sure your employees, whose direct income depends on the company, are in even greater dependence on your opinion and your genius producer vision, especially when you constantly praise yourself and act like a great businessman, while every decision you make buries our beloved indie project. I used to hear the term PR language, but I'd never met people like that in real life, so I didn't notice the catch right away and believed what they told me. I'm generally used to trusting people, but every one of their actions, starting from the first day Emergence was published, proved the opposite. And eventually it all reached the point where I completely lost hope for any normal future with a company like that. And all this time I was promoting their toys for more than a year absolutely for free because I wanted to be useful to Alexei's franchise. I did it believing I was helping the people thanks to whom we even have such a cool project. And only later, from leaked messages, it became clear that since 2024, Alexei hadn't even been getting money from YouTube. And even if we ignore that money, taken away from Alexei, if it actually went into effective, reasonable investments, into a good new series or a decent film, fine. But after seeing Emergence, seeing the film and seeing how they interact with viewers, I finally understood what I'd been feeling all this time and what Mr. Boom went through. The guy who got screwed over just as hard as all of us. From leaked private chats between EBO and one more animator, as well as from the post by his friend Even Purr, who's known him for more than 10 years, it became clear that Mr. Boom was under severe stress because of invisible narratives. And even with that kind of pressure from them, he kept making episodes for us whenever the company allowed him to and didn't interfere with his YouTube channel. It's just that because of the NDA, we didn't know anything about it. And I'm really glad that he, even if through hints, managed to make it clear that he's with us and with the Bring Boom Back movement. That's exactly what motivates me to keep talking about this situation and not give up. Friends, I didn't imagine at all that I'd be entering the new year and my birthday like this, watching them destroy 2 years of my life like that. And it's especially hard to realize that because of this, my friends suffer, and many other creators who made skibidi content suffer too. And while all this was happening to us, Invis in the public space kept posting nothing but ads for those damn toys. Their tactic is to stay silent and wait for viewers to calm down. That's a direct quote from one of their employees, David. You can go and see for yourself. They literally don't have a single other company post, while under every post viewers write only Bring Boom Back, which very clearly shows how brutally disconnected from reality they are. I hope this situation will be widely discussed not only inside our fandom, but outside it too. It seems extremely important to me that as many talented indie project people as possible know about the existence of these empty shell companies, the kind that can talk pretty, but in reality, give nothing. Companies that buying a franchise not only don't help it grow, but pump money out of it to fund themselves, hiding behind promises of a bright future, big names like Michael Bay and other fairy tales, while doing their job outright disgustingly. I sincerely hope Mr. Boom can win and get his franchise back for himself. With Invis, Skibidi Toilet has no future and can't have one. All useful links are in the description, including the petition and my Twitter, where I keep you updated. I really hope that before the end of the year, this problem actually gets resolved. Thank you for your support. We keep moving, guys. There's still a chance to win. It's not all lost yet. And yeah, considering what I saw in the film, it turns out Michael Bay is simp cameraman.
That the fans are being. The key is to give audiences what they need, not necessarily what they want. And what they need is to be able to, to see things that are more engaging to them and surprising for them and to subvert people's expectations. So if we do exactly what people are expecting us to do, that's That doesn't grow anything. What we need to do is have people think we're going in one direction and continue to surprise and delight them. And that's the goal of what's happening here.